Anais, thank you for accepting our invitation to this talk. I would like to start by asking you this. Well, obviously, Formula One is a major event globally. What are the main challenges that you face nowadays?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. And obviously, we are going to talk about Formula One, but what I would like to say is that it's not only about Formula One, but motorsports in general faces a lot of backlash, unfortunately, because in people's mind, we tend to think that it's an elite sport, which costs a lot of money that is not affordable and not accessible for everyone. So that's the first issue and concern that we are facing. And obviously, the second one is everything that has to do with environmental impact, sustainability, also people living in the cities where we have tracks and Grand Prix and any other championships or racing would complain about the disruption that this event would bring. For example, street closures, traffic. It's also a lot of spending in taxes. And again, it's in people's minds. So you asked me about what are the main challenges.
Yeah.
So this is a perception that sometimes we face with the motorsport.
Okay, I understand. But what are the strategies to deal with that?
Yeah, so there are different strategies, obviously, and again, it would really differ from one championship to another. The main thing with Formula One is that you need to make sure that you work with the local authorities, you work with the community, and you have a long-term planning. People who will be, in a sense, affected by this championship need to feel part of the story. You need to involve them in everything that you do. You need to involve them in your question, in discussion. They really need to understand the added value of the event you are bringing. That's the first thing. And then what you should be doing as well is to really leave legacy behind your event, just not dropping an event like this and then it's just affecting people and people do not really understand what was the added value and then they don't see the benefits on the long term. So that's the main challenge.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel that people are available to give their opinion and when they are listened, their perception changes actually?
Yeah, and I think that it's a general rule. Obviously, when you take the time to listen to people and then people feel like their opinion is valued, obviously it changes a lot. And then it takes a lot of people to do that work because what we have noticed is that when you are launching a big, large scale event, it's just not you doing something. There are a lot of stakeholders and a lot of partners that are involved in this. So you need to get all of these people in the room and make sure that everyone has a say and everyone feels heard. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking for when you choose a destination for one of the races? What are you looking for? What do you expect?
So there is just one clarification that I would like to make here is that I represent the FIA, which is the governing body for motorsport, not really Formula One. So we are not directly involved in where we choose. Obviously, we have a say. But I would say that what is important, I mean, there are a lot of things that are important. First of all, is just everything that has to do with visibility, financials, logistics. Does that make sense? Would it be easy to implement a track, a race? Do you have all the facilities there? Do you think that everyone will be involved in your project? Will you have enough support? Again, it's also very important to understand whether you will have some backlash or any other detractors in the city where you will choose. But most importantly is the infrastructure. Do you have the available existing infrastructure already in place?
Okay. You talked about sustainability. Can you give us a few examples on how you can change things and make the this kind of events more sustainable?
So there are a lot of things that are being done in terms of sustainability in motorsport, first of all. So we have a lot of electric sustainable championships, like I'm thinking about Formula E, for example. As of next year, the Formula One regulations will change and you will have more hybrid engines and Formula One. So there are already a lot of things that are being done in terms of sustainability when it comes to the sport itself. When we talk about the sustainability around the event, then there are a lot of things that are being done, and we do work, and the promoters and the cities, they do work with a lot of companies that try to encourage sustainable transport from one place to the track, for example, from the hotel to the track, and some shuttles. And in the circuit as well, we are not only talking about sustainable mobility, but a lot of sustainable actions that are being done in the paddock with recycled there are a lot of recycled workshops or Minecraft and things like this. So we are really trying to improve and to work on sustainability.
You also talked about legacy.
Yeah.
In what ways is it possible to leave a positive legacy on the destinations that receive this kind of competition?
That's a very good question. The first one being, I would say, the visibility. So many people would be able to locate a city on the map after there is a Formula One or any other championship. When I think about Le Mans, for example, which is a very small city in France, and they host the 24 hours of Le Mans, if it wasn't that, I'm not sure that many people would know where is Le Mans and what is it, even in France, actually. So an event like Le Mans would bring and attract around 4,000 spectators, which is 10 times more than the city population, which is huge. And more than that, and what we don't know that much also about motorsport is that at the FIA, we tend to call that motorsport is kind of a laboratory for mobility and innovation, because all the innovations that are being developed in motorsport, for example, in Le Mans 100 years ago, or even now in Formula E, everything that has to do with innovation, hydrogen efficiency, and all this added values that have been developed and are being used in your daily life, in your car that you drive every day, have been tested first in motorsports. That's also a legacy. So you would also kind of use your city or destination as kind of an innovation hub. That's also a legacy. So I would just say that and then obviously the infrastructure that you build, they can be used for any other events or championships, for example. And then you also build capacity. When you bring a track or a Grand Prix to a city, then you kind of train also people who are not really used to this kind of championships. If it's like hotels, entertainment, sponsors, everyone who is involved, then they will learn from these experiences, and then it's just all about building capacities. So those are the kind of legacies. I would just say financial and long-term legacy, like cultural legacy.
Is it easy to activate those local stakeholders like schools or universities? Companies that work in mobility. Is it easy to activate this kind of network?
Nothing is very easy. But again, it has to do with the perception and the community perception. The narrative is very important, and it's sometimes even more important than the event in itself. So if the community really understand the level of engagement and this sense that you are trying to bring, then obviously that's easy. And that's something that we kind of do a lot at the FIA. So at the FIA, we are the governing body for motorsport, but not only, we do work to act as a global voice for safe and sustainable mobility around the world. So we do work a lot on the questions of road safety and sustainable mobility. We do work a lot on the question of safety of kids around school zones, for example. So we kind of connect these kind of things. I'm just thinking of a very fresh example that we've just had here in Sao Paulo in the F1 Grand Prix that just happened last week, where we launched what we call star rating and safe star rating for schools project that we are doing in Brazil, where we have invited some schools and kids to the paddock, and they have met with Bortoleto, and also Bortoleto has acknowledged the importance of having safe roads for kids to go to school. So this is how we are trying to connect our both hats, and as long as people understand the needs, then it's easy. But of course, it's not easy since the beginning. Yeah.
We are talking obviously about sports events. Do you think there's a connection, a link that we can establish with business events? I mean, sports events can drive and help to attract business events for a destination that, let's say, has a motorsport competition, for instance?
Yes. I mean, again, the thing is that motorsport brings a lot of visibility, and I think now more than ever, I think it's becoming a little bit more popular than it used to be for many, many reasons. I think that young people are more attracted and more into Formula One races right now. So I think that it gives a lot of visibility, and there are a lot of partners that are really interested into this business model and would like to get to know more. And that's also something that we have with the guest experience in the paddock area, where you have a lot of stakeholders and business partners that are involved, and they just come and they are invited, and you have this kind of business meetings. And again, I think, yeah, what has to do with the motorsport is that it really gives visibility and adds visibility to a destination and make it like a serious global sport destination.
And how do you think it's possible to improve the experience of spectators? Because obviously there are people that attend events physically, but many others see this on television, on their mobile phones. How is it possible to improve the experience for this kind of events?
That's a good question. I think that there are a lot of things that are being done, and we need to follow the improvement and how our society evolves. So now we tend to live in a society with like digital era. Everyone is on their social network. We do have all of this social platforms. So kind of live stream. I'm sure that there are a lot of things that can be done. I think that at this stage, there is already something. I mean, I think that what is in place is already efficient enough, but obviously we are always keen on improvements. But what we are trying to do is really to like improve the experience on site. The thing with motorsport, which is not exactly the perception and the experience that you live with motorsport is not exactly the same one that you would live with another sport. For example, if we take the basic one, which is football, then you would just like sit in the stadium, and in front of you, you would have the whole competition, which is a little bit different for motorsport because you are sitting at one space and then there is a car that passes by very, very fast. And you always need to keep an eye on the screen as well. But the vibe and the atmosphere that you live when you are at a race weekend is just something that you cannot feel on TV, obviously. And what they do is that now they are improving a lot and bringing a lot of activities to the fans. And again, it's all about making people feel part of the story.
Mm-hmm. And Well, we talk about sustainability, about legacy. I think technology plays a huge role. How do you see, for instance, AI impacting the way you organize events, that you engage with people? Is this an interesting challenge for you, in your perspective?
That's a good point. Again, here I think I would need to speak on behalf of the FIA, and our role here is like being the governing body for the motorsport. So I wouldn't be able to talk on behalf of the other organizers. But what we do at the FIA is that we also kind of organize our own events, right? So of course, AI is something that is being developed a lot and can be definitely useful for the events. On our side, at the FIA level, I think what AI could be useful too is everything that has to do with the engineering and the sport itself.
Mhm.
When it has to be with events, I would just say that at this stage, it's just a little bit different. Obviously, you can have like some kind of added values and some kind of extra activities around AI. And AI is something that is very important in terms of content for us and for our member clubs. But I'm not sure I have enough to say about AI in the role of AI in the motorsport events itself.
Mhm. And how about data? Because nowadays we have access to a lot of information. How can we use better this data to make events and business more interesting in the future?
Yeah. So I think what is very interesting with data is how you will use it and what you will be able to do with the information it provides you. It's just not only about reading, it's also about analyzing and then finding solutions based on this data. So what we can do on our side is that we do use this data to improve as much as possible. And then we just go back to everything that has to do with sustainability, for example, sustainable transport around the motorsports events, then try to use all of this data and work with other companies, and even the local authorities in the city to better improve and cause less disruption as possible in terms of traffic, in terms of congestion around the city. And then in terms of data from a business perspective, then again, as I said, the target audience for motorsport and F1 in general has completely shifted over the last years. I would say that Netflix show has had a role in that, but we noticed that now the target audience is a little bit younger and it tends to be a little bit more girls or female than it used to be in the past. So based on that, I'm sure that there are a lot of things to be done from a business perspective and to use this data to make something out of it.
Okay. And how about the importance of being on a congress like this one, ICCA? And what do you expect to take from this experience here in Porto?
So first of all, I'm very happy to be here at ICCA in Portugal. Again, as I said, it's my first time in Porto, in Portugal in general. So I'm really enjoying this event. And what is very important and what we really value with ICCA is the network. I mean, the network that ICCA has and provides is just impressive. And I'm not sure that any other organization can really provide such a huge and strong and wide network. So that's the main reason why we value our participation here. And also because the tourism is such a big topic and it's such a big world, but it's such a small word at the same time. And I think that we do not tend from the FIA, I'm talking from my perspective at the FIA, we don't tend to see sport as tourism first thing that you think about sport, you don't really think about tourism. And when you think about tourism, you don't really think about sport. But this is just crazy how these two are connected and how they both bring to each other. This is, a lot. This is very impressive. So at the FIA, we do work a lot with the UN tourism as well. And at the FIA, we do have kind of these two hats again, tourism when it has to do with mobility services, but also sport tourism that we would like to increase a little bit and give more visibility. So I think that's the perfect opportunity to be here at ICCA and to kind of like raise awareness about importance of sport as being a tourism tool, but also to add to their network because, as I said, we already have, ICCA has already a strong network, but also at the FIA, we do have kind of 149 member clubs representing, 249 member clubs representing 140 countries. So it's very important for us to kind of like being here and making the connections between everyone and see there are a lot of opportunities and synergies.
Okay, Anais, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.